Greetings, everyone. I'm just gonna wait until I get the Facebook popping. This is June the 16th. So get a little bit of music going. This is a man's world. This is a man's So I'm just getting ready to go live on Facebook as well. So just hanging out with me and enjoy the music for me. You see, man made the car to take us over the road. Man made the train. Once again, good morning. Hi everyone, I'm gonna wait until we get viewers up. So once again, good morning. In the afternoon, it is 4:11 Central Time, 5:11 Pacific Time. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. I want to say good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in with me. I am Professor Shimada Owens out of St. Louis, Missouri. And today my topic will be Black women authors. And I just want to say happy Father's Day early to all the great fathers out there. And it's very important that we are in our children's life. And so that was James Brown playing in the background. It's a man's world, but it'd be nothing without a woman or a girl. So just building the viewers up. So greetings to everyone on. So once again, I am Shimada Owens, Professor Shimada Owens out of St. Louis, Missouri. And today's topic is Black women authors in history. So Black women authors in history. And I want to say happy Father's Day early and also happy Juneteenth. We know that's coming up on Tuesday, June the 19th. And sorry, I'm running just a little bit behind. I had to get the YouTube station up as well. And so for those of you who celebrate 4th of July or Independence Day, you should definitely know about Juneteenth. Juneteenth is celebrated every year on June 19th, especially in the South. It's also known as Freedom Day, Emancipation Day. It took 2 years when Lincoln freed the slaves, was supposedly freed the slaves in the South, which he had no control over. We know the president was Jefferson Davis, and he did not free the slaves in Tennessee, Missouri, or West Virginia. So he did not free those slaves. His main goal was to keep the union together. And so Juneteenth will be held, most celebrations will take place this weekend. It's a big celebration, I know, in Atlanta, and also on Tuesday, and some celebrations in St. Louis, Missouri. And so, like I said, it's held annually on June 19th. The name Juneteenth comes from June, and also the 19th, which was slaves was in Galveston, Texas, were finally free, and that was June 19th, 1865. And right now, 45 states do celebrate Juneteenth. And I'm coming live from Shabazz University. We build a stronger minds in the community. So the first poem, I'm going to read you a poem. Like I said, I'm doing Black women authors. It's called Black Woman by Georgia Douglas Johnson. Don't knock at the door, little child. I cannot let you in. You know not what a world this is. Of cruelty and sin. Wait in the still eternity. I cannot let you in. Don't knock at my heart, little one. I cannot bear the pain of turning deaf ear to your call. Time and time again, you do not know the monster men inhabiting the earth. Be still, my precious child. I must not give you birth. And that's a deep, deep, deep meaning. That's called Black Woman by Georgia Douglas Davis. And once again, it said, don't knock at the door, little child. I cannot let you in. You know not what a world this is, so a cruel world this is, a cruelty and sin. Wait still in eternity until I come to you. The world is cruel, child. I cannot let you in. Don't knock at my heart, little one. I could not bear the pain of turning a deaf ear to your call. Time and time again. You don't know the monster men inhabiting this earth. Be still, my precious child. I must not give you birth. So that's coming from a black woman who's experienced the pain that had to deal with this earth, not being protected. The white man is bearing to them. They don't want to even give birth to this child. And so that's a deep, and again, that's Black Woman by Georgia Douglas Johnson. So the first one I'm going to talk to you about is Octavia Butler. She was in the genre known for being traditionally white male. She broke through this barrier. She did science fiction, and she's an African-American woman. She was born in California in 1947. She was an avid reader despite having dyslexia. So even though she had dyslexia, she still enjoyed reading. And by the age of 4, she was a storyteller. And then by 10, she began writing. And so she was so drawn to science fiction because of its possibilities and the imagination, the places she can go to get away from the cruel world, that she became an author. So she took this scientific world by storm. She had novels that was kind of racy back then. It includes race, sex, power, humanity. She was highly appraised. Her work go beyond her genre. She spoke million language, and her books was available in million language. She is best known for her novel Kendrick. It was published in 1979. It tells a story of a Black woman who must travel back in time in order to save her own life by saving a white slave owner, her ancestor. So once again, she wrote about this book where she must travel back in time to save her own life by saving a white man who owned slaves. So she had to go save her ancestors, but in order to do this, she must first save a slave owner. Over her career, she won 2 Hugo Awards, 2 Nobel Awards in 1995. She became the first science fiction writer to win the MacArthur Fellowship. And she basically described herself as an outsider. She was inspired future generations of women, including Nadia Okoria and even Janelle Monáe. Janelle Monáe mentioned hers a lot. So if you pay close attention, even though she wrote back in the days, a lot of rappers, a lot of people mentioned some of these great, powerful speakers, these great, powerful writers. And so that was Octavia Butler, who wrote about science fiction and had the novel called Kendrick. And with Kendrick, she had to save her in order to save herself. When she went back in time, she had to save the white slave owner. And that's deep. Can you think about, imagine that? Would you be willing to go back in time in order to save your own life? Would you be willing to save a slave owner, knowing what they put you through back in the day and your ancestors through? Would you be just like, oh, I'm just going to die? Or would you yourself be willing to save the same man that inflicted this pain on you and your ancestors, that made you work, that was raping women left and right, using you as a concubine? Would you be willing to save someone like that? But she wasn't afraid to touch on those topics. So salute to Miss Octavia Butler. And that is me honoring you, woman to woman. So any questions thus far that I have, that you have for me? And so that's Octavia Butler. The next woman I'm going to talk about is going to be Zora Neale Hurston. But there's a couple of quotes from Octavia Butler. She said, kindness eases change, love quiets fear. So once again, kindness eases change, love quiets fear. And she said, in order to rise from its own ashes, a phoenix first must burn. So that means to get out your pity and to step. Sometimes God, our life, Jehovah needs you to realize sometimes you got to be knocked down to the ground to rise above it all. So once again, in order for a phoenix to rise from its own ashes, it must be first burned. And so that is deep, 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 deep. Think about that. And the third quote says, sometimes being a friend means mastering the art of timing. So in order to be a friend, that means mastering the art of timing. Timing is everything. There is a time for silence. So it's a time to be quiet and to listen. And there's a time to go ahead and allow the people to hurl themselves into their own destiny, so their own destiny. So sometimes you got to be quiet, and sometimes you got to let people go in that direction that you don't totally agree with. And there's a time to prepare to pick up the pieces when it's all over. So being a good friend sometimes means being quiet and listening, and to let them do and make those mistakes, and then you still being friend enough at the end to pick up the pieces. And so that's Miss Octavia Butler. And one more time, salute to the queen. The next person is Miss Zora Neale Hurston, and she is a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. C5 to all my Zetas, to all my Greeks, welcome. So Zora Neale Hurston, she took place in the Harlem Renaissance, and the Harlem Renaissance was a big time. It was a big movement for Black people. It's like we trying to get to now, our own everything, our own writing, our own literature, and things like that, our own music. And so she said, "It's funny things. The less people have to live for, the less nerve they have to risk losing nothing." So once again, it's a funny thing. The less people have to live for, the less nerve they have to risk it all for nothing. And she also was one of the papers says, she said, "Sometimes I feel discriminated against, but it does not make me angry. It merely astonished me. How can they deny themselves the pleasure of having my company? It's beyond me." So when she feels discriminated against, she said, "How dare they? You know what I'm saying? You're missing out on me. You're missing out on my company." So she says, "It's beyond me why you feel like that." So Miss Zora Neale Hurston was born January 7th in 1891. She was born in Alabama, and she died at the age of 69 in Florida. And she was a folklorist, and that means she went back and told the stories. And she was an anthropologist, a novelist, and she wrote stories. And she went to Howard University and Barnard College to get her BA. So once again, Howard University is producing some of the greats up in this mug, besides our own Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz. She wrote more than 50 novels, short stories, plays, essays. She wrote Their Eyes Were Watching God. And Their Eyes Were Watching God, it was made into a movie by Oprah Winfrey. Halle Berry played in there. And so it was a deep movie that was set back in the days. Their Eyes Were Watching God, like I said. You had a woman on the prowl to find a better life, leaving her older husband, and then basically skipping out, marrying somebody young, he getting rabies. And so that was Zora Neale Hurston, Their Eyes Were Watching God. That book, a lot of the high schools try to ban that book because of some of its topics as well. The next person, so salute to my soror, Zora Neale Hurston. The next person I'm going to talk to you is about Alice Walker. And when I say Alice Walker, everybody like, "Oh my God, I know her." You should know her. If you do not know who I'm talking about, you would know who I'm talking about in just a second. But one word, Color Purple. It's taking the world by storm. It's a phenomenon. So Alice Walker, she's an American novelist. She's a writer. She's a poet. And she's an activist. So keyword is activist. So we found a lot of these women in history was not only like singers, stories, actors, or whatever. They was activists, and so they were fighting for women rights as well as the Black person right. So she wrote the novel The Color Purple, which won the National Book Award for horror cover fiction, and also won the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. And so Miss Alice Walker was born in February 9th. She was born in 1944, and she was born in Georgia. She went to Spelman College as well as Sarah Lawrence College. And so a big shout out to Spelman. If you don't know what Spelman is, it's in Atlanta. It's an all-female college. She won so many different awards. And so some of the quotes I'm going to read, it said the most common people give up their power is by thinking you don't have any. So the most common way for people to give up their power is by thinking you don't have power. Never think that you don't have power. So that's the most common way for you to give it up is when you don't think you have it. And the stupidest question is when you don't ask the question. That's the most stupidest question that you can think of is when you don't ask the question as a whole. And she said, and as you see it in The Color Purple, she said, "I think it pisses God off if you don't walk by the color purple in the field somewhere and you don't notice. If you walk by the color purple and you don't notice it. She said it. She think it pisses God off. So think about the color purple when her and her sister Nettie, Celie, when Nettie was in the field with the purple flowers. Even at the end, she brought the color purple flowers, the theme up again. The third quote and the final quote I'm gonna read about Miss Alice Walker is: "The animals of the world exist for their own reasons. They were not made for humans any more than black people were made for white or women created for men." So let me say that once again. The animals of this world exist for their own reason. Each one have a purpose in this world. They were not made for humans any more than black people were made for whites. So black people were made for to be white people slaves, to be lower, and white people to be superior than them. We were made first. We was kings and queens and princesses, pharaohs and princes. We made this world. This world is on the back of our ancestors, our people. And then also for women created for men, women were not made to serve men unless you really want to serve a man. And we're not just gonna get in that topic, but we don't have to bow down. We're not superior to you. We're side by side. We came from the rib, not the backbone. So, like I said, the animals was here for a purpose, and she truly believed that. And so, that's one thing. And she wrote another book that don't get a lot of credit. Her book Meridian is a novel about activists working in the South during the civil rights movement. If you don't know that book, please read Meridian. Once again, it's a novel about activists going to work in the South during the civil rights movement. It events parallel some of Walker's own experience. So she put some of her own experience in her books, but she also did a spinoff, so you wouldn't know it was totally about her. And then in 1892, she published another work, what become her best thing. That's The Color Purple I just told you about, and that took place in 1982. And to this day, it's a Broadway play. It's a book. It's coming on TV. And you had like Fantasia, Jennifer Hudson. You have these famous actors, and it normally comes to Fox. So if you haven't seen The Color Purple live, please go out and watch The Color Purple. Support this lady. So we know Color Purple follow a young black troubled woman. She's finding her way to not just racism, white culture, but black culture as well, being from the poor rural South. The book became a bestseller, and it's adapted into a acclaimed movie. And the movie Color Purple came about in 1985 by Steven Spielberg, and Oprah Winfrey and Whoopi Goldberg took play in 2005. You had Broadway musical, and it's basically had up to this day almost 1,000 performances. And so we know this book was cliched by Alice Walker because it told you about the racism with white people as well as what black people in the rural South had to endure by her stepdad raping her, having kids, and she was only 14. Back in that day, you can get married when you was 14 and 15 and 16. When you got older, it was they were looking at you like what was wrong with you. And so, and also it was about bisexualism with Celie and what's her lady name? Like Yisho is ugly. That her I can't think of her name. That's crazy. Shug Avery. And so this book was banned in the United States for a period of time. It was banned in Europe because of some of the heavy topics that she went ahead and talked about. And so salute to Miss Alice Walker. And so rundown, I did Olivia Butler, I did Zora Neale Hurston, and this is Alice Walker. And so, once again, I thank you for tuning in. And if you missed the topic at the beginning of the hour, it is Black women authors. And I also gave you a little bit about Juneteenth. And if you see me looking away, it's because I'm talking to you two at the same time. I wish I had a camera that could talk to both at the same time. But another author I'm going to talk about is Toni Morrison. And I picked her because I feel like a lot of people need to know her, and we need to support these Black authors and their books. And by all, even though they long and gone, some of these books, will help you understand where we came from. So Toni Morris, she's an American novelist, an essayist, an editor, a teacher. She worked at Princeton University. She won a Publisher Prize as well in American Book Award in 1988 for her book Beloved. And we know that's one of the books Oprah talked about her storytelling class, her book club. And she also did the movie Beloved. And so she was born February 18th in Ohio. She went to Cornell University and another alumni at Howard University as well. her quote. I'm going to read to you. If there is a book that you want to read, but it has yet to be written, you must be the one to write it. So once again, if there is a book that you want to read, but has yet to be written, you must write it. So that's telling you a lot of people sit back and complain about stuff that they see other groups not doing. Well, they're not doing this. The new Black Panther Party not doing this. The NAACP not doing this. Jesse Jackson them not doing this. The local sheriff and police not doing it. That means if you see something that you can think of as not being done, it's not been invented, you do it. If it's a book you want to read and it have been written, that means you are to write that book. You are to write that destiny. So if you see a problem that need to be fixed, what's wrong with you getting up and doing it? What's wrong with you organize somebody and you come together and you doing it? So her second quote is said, if you want to fly, you got to give up the shit that weighs you down. So I'm sorry for the language, but if you want to fly, if you want to move on past your current state, sometimes you got to let go of that baggage that's holding you back. That's in relationships as well. So sometimes you want a good man or one of them good woman, you want a wife or a husband, and you always complaining what the last ex did. Sometimes you got to let that go. You got to let that baggage go. So once again, if you want to fly, you have to give up the stuff, the sugar, honey, iced tea that weighs you down. So the third one and the final quote I'm going to give is, she is a friend of my mind. She gathered me the pieces I am. She gathered them, give them back to me in all the right order. So if you are a friend, you're going to pick her up when she fall down. The pieces of the puzzle, you're going to pick her up and give it back to her wholeheartedly in the right order. So the things sometimes you're afraid to hear, sometimes you have to be willing to let them fall and then to redirect them and get them all the pieces in the right order. Make them feel whole. Don't keep throwing up in their face. And so in 1987, Morrison published her most celebrated novel, Beloved. It was inspired by a true story of an enslaved African-American woman. Her name was Margaret Garner. So what happened is Garner, she escaped slavery, but she was pursued, and that means she was run down by her slave master, her hunters, slave hunters. And so you had these slave hunters that would give rewards for catching slaves. And you'll see the hound dogs. In most slave movies, you'll hear the hound dogs, get them, boy. They be running through the creek, they be running through the water for their life and stuff like that. So instead of facing a return to slavery, she's going to kill her 2-year-old daughter that before she was able to be captured, because she did not want her daughter to live in slavery, and she was about to kill herself. But right before she killed her 2-year-old daughter, and right before she was able to kill herself, they caught her. And so basically, it imagines the dead body, the baby, the 2-year-old returning as a ghost, and is going to hunt the mother and her family. And so the baby is going to grow up to be, older, and she's going to hunt them throughout the book. And so this movie also had Oprah Winfrey, the dude that played Mr. Danny, what's his name? Danny Glover. He played in the movie as well. And so that was that. And she also wrote the book called The Bluest Eyes. The Bluest Eye. So it was written by Toni Morrison again. It was in 1970. She was a single mother of 2, and she wrote the novel while she taught at Harvard. So not only did she graduate from Harvard, she ended up teaching at Howard University. That's where most of the fraternities and sororities was founded at Howard University. 1901, 1906, 1913, 1920, 1922, 1914. And I think I forgot when Aldo was found. But I'm sorry if you're out and you're watching it. But most of the fraternities and sorority were founded on the campus of Howard University. So the Bluest novel, The Bluest Eyes, like I said, it's set in 1914, in the year 1941. It centers around the life of an African-American girl named Pensacola. She grows up during the years following the Great Depression in Ohio. So that's what Morris was born in. So if you haven't heard about the Great Depression, it's when money was end up being worthless. So basically, you can have a whole wheelbarrow full of money, and it costs like $5,000 to buy some bread. And so due to her mannerisms and her dark skin, she is constantly referred to as ugly. So she develops this complex of inferiority because she has dark skin. and which fuels her desire for the bluest eyes she equates with whiteness. So she want some bluest eyes, so she want to be white. Because and so many times in society we see people poke fun at being dark and associating black with being ugly, with being bad, with all that. I associate black with being rich. Think about the oil. Think about coal. Think about the diamond. Coal. The diamond is in the coal. You have to have enough pressure to end up shining like a diamond, and that's what black people are. We endure this hardship. We endure slavery. We endure racism. So the more pressure we under, we are able to shine bright. We are able to build our own communities, our own writing, our own schools to educate our black people. And I teach at the second school founded for black people west of Mississippi. That's Vashon High School. And the first one is Sumner. And we have like Tina Turner, Arthur Ashe, this Christmas, you know what I'm saying, Donny Hathaway attended Vashon, Arthur Ashe, Tina Turner, they attended Sumner High School. So we have a lot of rich history that we had to get into. And Toni Morrison also wrote the Song of Solomon. Basically, this book was set on the quest of a series. It became the first work by African American author since The Native Son by Richard White to be featured in a selected book club. And so this is one of the books. The Song of Solomon was featured in a book club. And so there was a woman before, then it was a black man, and now it was a woman. So like I said, Beloved is considered one of her greatest work. Like I said, The Bluest Eyes is when a girl puts a color because of her dark skin complex. She wants to be white. She wants these bluest eyes. And so she's going to switch her perspective of Claudia, the daughter of her foster parents, and she's going to be like in third person, like the narrator. But we oftentimes, even like black people, we have this light skin versus dark skin debate. It doesn't matter what color you are. Black comes in all different shades. You're beautiful, whether you're light skin, whether you're brown skin, whether you're dark skin, you're beautiful. So don't let nobody tell you that you're not beautiful because you dark skin. My black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if you have a dark skinned little girl, Taye Diggs have a lot of different books to cater to people with darker complex. The next person I'm going to talk to you is going to be a final author today is Miss Maya Angelou. This is the woman that I love. You know, I model, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to go to Wake Forest. I wanted to learn to read. I wanted to write. I wanted to get my doctorate because I heard Maya Angelou was born in St. Louis, the city I'm in right now. I love her. She's often referred to as spokesman for the African American women through her many works. Her gift became words. If you see her on Tyler Perry, she's giving these poems on TV. She's giving these poems. When Obama came off, she gave this poem. I do Cornel West. I'm like, teach, auntie, you know. So Maya Angelou, she basically committed to raising the moral standards of living in the United States. So she dedicated her works into raising these standards. So she was born Margaret Ann Johnson, and she was born on April 4th. So she's an Aries. That's another reason why I like her. I'm April the 17th. Like I said, she's an author. She's a poet, and she's America's most visible Black female author. And so she is best known for her series of 6 autobiography volume, which is going to focus on her childhood and then her early adult experience and what she had to go through. Her first and most highly acclaimed book is I Know Why Cagesburg Sings, and that was in 1969. And it tells her story of her first 17 years and how she ended up getting pregnant and had to be shipped off into her 18th house because it was taboo for a woman anyway, and back in that day to get pregnant and you weren't married. Like I said, it was taboo, but it's something we need to get back to. You know what I'm saying? Keep your head in the book, women. Keep this and keep that. Try to hold on to your virtue, but if you can't, I understand. But it's a lot of stuff to protect you out there. But back then, it was cliche. They'd say you went to go visit your relatives when you got pregnant, and then you'll go spend a long time in the South and then come back. So they'll send you south once you got pregnant, or they'll pull you out of school when you were pregnant back in these days. So like I said, I'm talking about Maya Angelou. And she was also nominated for the National Book Award. She's been awarded over 30 awards, honorary degrees. That's why she got her doctorate. So 30 honorary degrees. And she was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize as well in 1971 for her poetry. And she also did the poetry, Just Give Me a Cool Drink of Water Before I Die. So that's basically, if you read that, basically get her a cool drink of water. You know what I'm saying? Realize who she is, sit with her, talk to the people before they die. It's like the old saying, don't give me flowers when I die. Give me my flowers while I'm here on earth. So basically, it's telling you to honor your family. Your family is important. If you think a person is important, say thank you. If you see them doing good, tell them they're doing good. Don't be a hater. You know, lift our Black community up. If they need help, lift them up. We oftentimes get to the point you see somebody doing something, you're jealous, you don't know how they got there, you don't know their backstory. So don't be jealous of people making millions or people making more money than you, or you see somebody thinking they're happy. The grass is not always greener on the other side. You don't know their story, you don't know their back, you don't know what that person is going through every day. Taking in for Janet Jackson, she ended up marrying somebody outside of her race. And it's like, oh, Janet Jackson married a billionaire. We don't know what Janet Jackson had to go through and live through, because when those years up, and she had that baby, she was out. So sometimes, like I said, don't assume that you know what people are going through. And so I'm going to read the Black Family Pledge by Maya Angelou. Because we have forgotten our ancestors, our children no longer give us honor. So I'm going to say it again. Because we forgot our ancestors, our children no longer give us honor. Because we lost the path of our ancestors cleared. Because we have lost the path of our ancestors cleared, so they cleared the path for us. Kneeling in previous undergrowth, our children cannot find a way. So because we lost the path that they cleared for us, they paved the way. Our children can't find the path. This new generation, they can't find the path. Because we have banished the God of our ancestors, our children cannot pray because we banished the God. Our children cannot pray. And that may be to God, Allah, Jehovah Nisi, whomever you pray to. They took prayer out of school. Because the old wells of our ancestors have faded beyond our hearing, our children could not hear us crying. Because we have abandoned our wisdom of mothering and fathering, our baffled children give birth to children they neither won't nor understand. Because we have forgotten how to love. The advisory is within our gates and hold us up to the mirror of the world, shouting, regard the loveless. Therefore, we pledge to bind ourselves to one another, to embrace our lowest, and to keep company with our loneliest, to educate our illiterate, to feed our starving, to clothe our ragged, to do all good things, knowing that we are more than keepers of our brothers and sisters. We are brothers and sisters. And honor those who toil and implore God with golden tongues, and in gratitude to the same God who brought us hopeless desolation, we make this pledge. So once again, the Black Family Pledge by Maya Angelou. Because we forgot our ancestor, our children no longer give us honor. So how can they honor us when they don't know what our generation been through? Because we forgot and we don't give our ancestors just due. Our kids don't give us just due, is what she's saying. Because we forgot, we lost the path that our ancestors cleared. Our young people can't find a way. They can't find a way, and we're not helping them find a way. We forgot where we come from, the back of the bus. Plessy versus Ferguson, when they said several but equal, we had to ride in the back of the train, get filled with smut on our skin because we lost our way. That path, our young people can't find that way. We began to lose this weight in the 80s and 90s. We started moving away from learning about Black history in the because they seen Dr. King. Some of these generations seen him die live. They seen the race rise in Watts. They seen all this stuff, and because we're going away from all this history and a lot of stuff not happened besides Michael Brown and all this stuff, we are basically turning the time over because they didn't get to walk in the civil rights, and we're forgetting to teach them that. They lost the path. They don't understand. They like, oh, Dr. King. They don't care. He's nobody to them but a picture and a day off school for them. So we had to get back to our path. Pave the way for these kids. Let them know that it's not. He's just not history. He is today. Because of him, we can ride the bus. We can ride the train. We can fly. We can be in schools because of him. And because we banished our God, our ancestors and children could not pray. They can't pray in school. So they said you can say a pledge of allegiance to a flag. You can say, sing American the Beautiful, but you can't pray to your God. You can't start your day off right, giving God the glory, Allah the glory for waking you up this morning. But you can say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. You have to say, if you receive any federal dollars, In Missouri, you have to say the Pledge of Allegiance. In our school, no. But you do have a lot of people that are implementing, like meeting at the flagpole, a lot of Christian groups praying. And so it said because our ancestors are faded beyond our hearing, our children cannot hear us crying. So we don't hear the voice of our ancestors. We don't hear what the Malcolm X was saying, Dr. King saying, you know what I'm saying, Dr. Khalid said from the new Black Panther parties, you know what I'm saying. We don't hear what they saying because of that. Our kids can't hear us cry when we tell them to stay out the street. We telling them, you know what I'm saying, it's nothing out there for you that way. It's nothing but trouble. They don't hear us because we no longer hear what our ancestors said. We are moving away from it. So how can we dictate, you know what I'm saying? We lead by example. So our kids don't hear us crying when they come up missing at nighttime and things like that, when they going somewhere they ain't supposed to. So next, it said we have abandoned our wisdom of mothering and fathering. Our befouled children give birth to children they neither want or understand, because we no longer being mothers. We ready to be out in the club. Some of us anyway. Our fathers, we ready to be out in the street. We ready to spend time partying, popping bottles, and spend money on our kids. Not all fathers, not all mothers do this, but we have this young generation who push kids off on the grandparents or whatever. They don't want these kids. They get pregnant with these kids. You know, they don't want these kids. They don't know how to teach these kids because they're not taught to be a father and a mother as well. So that's why it's important that we get back to these two-parent household. Section 8 was designed to break up the Black family. You can't have a man. How dare you can have a man live with you? It's only you and your kids. And so society has deemed that. And some people are comfortable with the male can't be with their kids, you know. And some males just don't know how to be a father to their kids. They was never had a father figure. And so we lost the mother and the father figure is what she's saying. Because we've forgotten how to love within our own gates, in our own home. We are shouting to the loveless. These kids have no emotions. They have no morals because we don't tell our kids we love them enough. We don't hug them enough. If they make a mistake, we yell. It's okay to hug your kids. It's okay to kiss your sons, men. It's okay. You can hug your sons. It's okay. Women, it's okay to tell your daughter she loves her. Men, it's okay to tell your daughter she looks nice in that outfit. It's okay to tell her she's beautiful. Because guess what? If you don't tell her she's beautiful, she is going to hear that from somebody else. And they're going to fill her head. So it's okay to love on your kids, to say that love. It's okay when they make the mistake. Ask them why they make the mistake. It's called restorative justice. Like, why did you do that? Why do you think that? Why do you think I don't love you? We are more than our brothers and sisters people. We are brothers and sisters. In order to get where we going and to make it into this next generation and to get this promise of Shabazz University, we need your support. I thank you for watching and tuning in to me every Saturday. We need you. We need your support. We sitting on your backs. You know what I'm saying? It's going to come a time where it's going to cost you to get more knowledge on this class. But right now, enjoy these seminars this summer. Because we need you, you know what I'm saying, support Black business like you do everything else. And that is some of the stuff I'm talking to you about. And once again, as scholarship opportunities, like I went over, I will be bringing that back on next Saturday as well. And I took more than enough of your time. If you have any questions, feel free to ask questions. Once again, I am on Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz live page, Shabazz University. And I'm on Shabazz University online on YouTube as well. Like I said, happy Father's Day, happy Juneteenth. If your kids don't know about Juneteenth, it's a perfect opportunity to tell them about Juneteenth. Like I said, this Juneteenth is mixed with June and the 19th. And it was the last slaves to be free in Galveston, Texas. It took them 2 years to learn that they were free. They had been given the orders. And so I say more than that, when the emancipation was issued on January 1st in 1863, New Year's is our day as well. So let's take back some of these holidays. Let's celebrate. If you drink red Kool-Aid, you drink red soda. If you have the African pan flag, if you have, support these events. Support these Juneteenth event, people. It's very important. If your kid know about 4th of July and don't know about Juneteenth, shame on you, shame on you, shame on me as a teacher, shame on most Black people. Investigate that Juneteenth. And like I said, I will be bringing you more scholarship information. And once again, the essay is very important in the scholarship process. So you get your child to write that essay, check the essay off, make sure you follow these deadlines. And like I said, I will be bringing you more essays on next Saturday. And I thank you for tuning in with me, taking your time out to watch this. And so until next Saturday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Central time. Stay black, stay blessed. Thank you. I'm out.